Well, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I am the Custard Prophet. We are back here with another first look video, this time looking at a newly released game in early access, and keep that in mind that it is in early access, called Pub Sim. Of course this is right up my street because I enjoy a few glasses of beer, as those who watch the channel well know. So this is a game delivered from First Impact Games. They are a fairly new developer. They have another game out in early access which was released in 2023, which is called Uprising, which is very, very different from this. It's essentially police versus rioters, and you can play either side, and it's just kind of a bit of a battle royale type of game as far as I can work out. But Pub Sim has been released in the last month, and there is an active developer looking to improve it. They've got big thoughts about where this game is going, and I thought, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this game on the channel. So I want to, in this first look video, we're going to have a little bit of a talk about the game itself. I've spent some time with it. I want to play through the first day of your pub management so you can get an idea of gameplay, and then I want to talk about some of the issues and some of the things I think they do reasonably well in the game. So let's dive in. So you'll notice there is no tutorial option at all. There is, however, the option to put cheats on, so you can go into infinity mode and unlock everything, so you can kind of start off like that, and that might be a nice way to experience it. That's not something I've done. You've basically got a single game mode. We're going to start a new game, and you can see I've got a second game that's gone to day 4. So here we go. This is our pub. Congratulations on the purchase of this fine establishment. I'm sure you'll find it's well worth the 50,000 debts you're now in. First of all, it may be a good idea to clean the place up, turning this dive into something more desirable. Then use the computer to order stock, manage all aspects of your business. Just try not to overspend and go bankrupt after one day, but don't underspend and disappoint your patrons. I'm sure you'll work out. That is essentially the tutorial. Does it need anything more than that? Perhaps it does need a little bit. It's fairly self-explanatory, but it is kind of nice to have that option, or maybe a help screen somewhere, but it doesn't have that. So this is the kind of world you're in. I think this looks really nice. I think this has all been very well done. You can kind of wander down here. I don't know how far you can go before, things go wrong. But we'll go back, and here it is. The Hare and Hound looks a nice, well, it looks an absolute dive, doesn't it? It looks terrible. Apparently we've got a rubbish problem around here. So in we go, and I mean, the ceiling looks like a hellscape at the minute, but there is a really nice option to improve what things look like, so you can redecorate. But the first aspect we need to clean up. This mechanic is, well, it is what it is. It's similar to what we got in Gas Station Simulator, although I think that handles it much better. But this all links into the patrons having a good time in the pub. So they want a nice, clean looking pub. So they don't want cobwebs everywhere and dodgy stains on the wall. And that does affect what happens when you come in. So you can see we've got our pint glasses up here, our wine glasses and shot glasses. And essentially, these are all infinite. There we go. So that's the ceiling. It looks a bit better like that. I mean, it looks like it's, I don't know, is that just falling apart? I don't know. So first thing we need to do is buy some stock in, because we've got space down here for multiple kegs. We've got 3 pumps, but we've got nothing. And this is our rather horrible looking fridge, and we've got space in here for bottled beer. So we need to go into our office, which is the other part of this game. There is opportunity to, this looks a lot better here, the walls. There is opportunity to expand this and expand this area as well. So let's go into the office and onto our computer. And this is where it goes horribly wrong. Just you can't read the words. The icons are bad. I just think this could be so much better presented. But we'll go into our beer, and it gets worse here. So this is like the old Microsoft screen, but you can't read the text. I've played around with the contrast on my screen. I've played around with the display settings. I just can't make it readable. So you're really trying to sort of squint your eyes. I mean, there's an options to buy draft beer or beer in bottles, wine or spirits. Wine and spirits are locked at the minute, and this is a nice little mechanic that you need to buy licenses to sort of unlock new things that you can sell. But what we'll do is we're going to buy a couple of kegs of draft beer. We'll get the Beineken, we'll get the Costas, and we'll get a slightly more expensive Kronenberg 1964, and we'll purchase all those 272. Actually, we'll also get some bottled beer. We'll get some Coors Light, Forgetti, not Moretti, and Cerrone, not Peroni. Right, we've got all of that. £600 spent. Right, that should be delivered outside here now. There we go. Looks, how have we managed all? Did I mistakenly buy? I don't think I bought any kegs. I don't know how I managed that. I thought I did, but we'll bring the 1664 in here. We'll fill this up. So I'm just going to fill up the fridge. And I'll see you in a sec. Okay, we've just bought some kegs of Strella, so we'll put that one down there. A keg of Beineken, we'll put that one down there, and you can see we fill this up. Another annoying mechanic is that we cannot have anything more than one type of beer on one shelf. So despite the fact we've got all these beers here, we can't put them in the fridge because apparently that's going to destroy everything. And we did get left this bottle of this keg of Costa. So now what we need to do is get this on here. So this it's a nice little mechanic that allows you to put the beers up here. So we've got now a pub which is ready to go, more or less, but we need to get some seating, so we can do that again here. And as you can see, now this is where reputation comes in, and reputation is earned by having a spick and span pub, and also a giving the patrons the correct drinks, not undercharging them, the drinks being cheap, all those sort of things. And as you go, you'll add things up, and you can see you can add various different things. Like we've got another fridge, so we can sell more beers from the fridge. But then you can upgrade to sort of more nice looking things. You can't really see any things. You can upgrade the ceiling fan. Apparently there's a pool table in here somewhere. We've got a plant, a suffering plant, which is nice. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can upgrade to get into that. So we're going to buy a couple of tables and then a few chairs to go around those tables so the patrons can sit around those tables. So again, very hard to see all that, but we can put this out here. So we'll access our tab here. Now this is nice, this bit. So this is how we can improve the look of the thing. So here we go. We can put a table there and a table there, and then if we go into our chairs, we should be able to go to chair, 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 and then chair, chair, chair. There we go. So that looks a lot better now. We've still got over £1,000. So let's do a feature wall. Get that tab back out again. What looks good? We don't want to go too expensive. Corrugated metal. Wow, that sounds fun. I mean, it might be a little bit much. Decorative stones. So let's. I mean, that looks awesome, doesn't it? Oh, it suits you, sir. That looks absolutely awesome. And then we'll leave that separate there. It's not too expensive. Starting to look pretty nice, eh? And maybe we'll just have a look at the ceiling options as well. A log ceiling. Maybe just around here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'll have to go wider. It's a little bit weird, but you know, there we go. You get the idea, folks. You get the idea. So let's invite the patrons in, and as we're sort of doing this, we'll talk a little bit about some of my experiences thus far, because this game, whilst the idea is nice, at the minute the delivery of the game, and it is in early access, and that is important to keep stressing, is it's not quite there yet. There are copious bugs in the game. Now the developers are looking to deal with that, but I have had 4 bugs that have just stopped me playing. Admittedly, some of them have gone away once you've saved and come back. So here we go, here's our first patron, but I mean, that's a lot of bugs. That is a lot of bugs. So here's our NPC and his I thought it was a little cardigan, a Costa's Draft, and this is how this works. We grab a pint glass from up there, we find our Costas, and then we pour with the left mouse button, try and be as accurate as it can. If you over pour, and I like that, if you over pour, there isn't a mechanic which takes it away, but what it does do is you lose liquid, so it's as if it's kind of draining into that. So you've got to try and be accurate and not throw your money down the drain as such. And then you've got to give him the right amount of change. I looked at the wrong thing. I keep doing that. So we've got to give him £9 or $9.26. And you can see here, it's really hard to see these things here. It'd be nice if these were just offset down a little bit so it's easier to see. But there we go. So in a bottle of Costas. I don't know if I have one of those. Oh, we do. One of the other issues I've been having is that they've been asking for stuff that I don't actually have, which is a little frustrating. So give him $1 back. There you go, sir. And they're over there enjoying the place, and you can see. I think that what's above there is like a. The greener it is, the better it is. A pint of Costas is what you wanted, wasn't it? So we'll give you one of those. There we go. We want to have we want that to be good, and then we've also got the credit card. And again, this is fairly straightforward. There we go. I've got to give him the credit card back. But this is essentially it, at least for the first part of the game, and I've not really been able to get much further past that. So you're pouring the drinks, you're taking the money, and it's not hard to work out what to give, and you've got to try and be as fast as you can to ensure that everyone gets their beer. You'll notice people only seem to get one drink at a time. They don't ask for 2 pints. It's just a single pint. He's come back for a second, which does happen, so that's good. So I guess the happier you make them, the more likely they are to come back. Ooh. And we'll take your card, sir. And it's $10.74. So we actually set the prices. So this is a management part of the game, which is back on that computer again. So he's back. A pint of Beineken. Okay, something a little bit different. First one having the Beineken. They've only asked for stuff we've got, which is good. But I guess one of the issues is as well, it's a very limited number of NPCs. as you will see. So you just keep getting the same people back again. There's this guy's twin. So he's over there. Bottle of noir, please. Well, we don't have that. So what I'd like here is an option to say, well, no, we don't have that. But what you can do is just sort of give them something random. Here, take this. But surely an option. I mean, who goes into a pub? That's really expensive. Who goes into a pub? And I don't think I pressed confirm, did I? Who goes into a pub and just asks, sort of looks behind and says, well, I'll just take something you haven't got. Pint of Costas? No worries, sir. You can have a pint of Costas. That's the wrong one. Oop. And you see the queue is building up. So really we're just trying to make as much as we can. You can see on the top right there, the top left there, the level, that's our reputation going up. So it looks like we're almost through level 1 in terms of reputation. $39. I mean, you could have given us, oops, a little bit less change. I don't want to give you everything. There you go, sir. Looking at his watch, you see he is. See, yes, he was happy without a bottle of Coors Light, please. We do have that. Make sure the fridge doors cold shut. We don't want to be $40. Don't want to be heating the entire, cooling the entire place, do we? So they're looking a little bit happy. Bottle of Bud Light. No, we don't have that. You can have one of these. it's just random, that bit. I just think that could have been handled so much better. And you can see we're getting to the end of the day. We're on level 2 now. We are 9 o'clock. He's coming back for some more. He wants another pint of Costas. You see the cobwebs. There's busy spiders here. So it is a very repetitive part of the game. I mean, I think on Steam there have been a lot of people who have got fairly positive reviews about this in reality, which makes me think there's maybe more to it than just this. And I think it's important to give benefit of the doubt. Bud Light, again, I don't think I've got this. So again, a slight issue with the game there, just kind of lagging. So we'll give him a $1 back. There you go, sir. Looks like this is our last customer. Bottle of Coors Light, please. Now we do have that. Have that. Take it. I mean, there we go. So we'll do a bit of tidying up, and this is another thing you have to do. Well, the thing I thought would be quite kind of nice is that the glasses aren't kind of just never-ending glasses. That there was kind of a mechanic where you collected them up. You have to take them away to wash them, and you have to buy glassware in. They get broken. Sometimes they get broken. That sort of thing. That would be kind of nice, but yeah, that hasn't happened. So it is very, very one-dimensional at the minute. Now, as I said, the developer has got big plans for this. Some of the things that they've got in the game are like the pool table and jukebox, and you've got different songs that can go on the jukebox. That all looks pretty good, and there we go. So we've got to the end of the day. He's going to leave, and we'll shut the door to basically end the shift, and that tells us what we got. So we got £177 there. We spent 1,700. So we didn't make money that day, and we served 13 customers, 42 reputation. I don't quite know what that means. /0 earned reputation 152. So not entirely sure what that's all about. So then we come in on the next day. So you kind of get an idea about what's going on. I've had issues with this game. There were a number of bugs, one of which didn't allow me to, once one of these shelves was empty, it didn't allow me to put anything else in there, which was a little bit frustrating. One of which had the interaction button constantly on, so it was just interacting with everything. One of them had a beer barrel randomly in the air, and some of the NPCs couldn't get past it. So it's these are quite big things, and that obviously does take a lot away from the game. So that's a bit of a downside. But I think it's early access, and I'm hoping a lot of these bugs will be sorted out. We'll have a little look up the road as I'm going through some of these other things. I don't like the UI on the computer. I think that could be done a lot better. But I like the stuff out here. I think that could be done a lot better. It does feel kind of quite repetitive. I can't see someone playing this game in the long term. I think there needs to be additional parts to it to make that happen, and maybe that does come later on in the management. So if you come into the management, you can see there is the option to get licenses, so we can buy a license for wine. You need to spend quite a lot of money for that. We wouldn't be able to afford that for a little bit. So you can also kind of manage your stores, and you can bring in staff as well, but again, this needs a reputation boost, so you won't be doing the grunt work all the time, and you can be kind of managing the pub from your back room, putting your feet up. So at the moment, I think reading through it looks like 1 drink per customer might be what happens in the early game, and that does change later on. Let me know if you've kind of played this further on, and if that's the case. But that's I think that's a little frustrating. You wouldn't expect that, and the whole kind of idea of people coming in and asking for drinks that you don't have, particularly if it's on tap. I mean, no one's going to go to a pub and look at what they have on tap and say, no, actually, I want something different on tap. Make that happen. That's a kind of weird one for me, and the lack of a tutorial as well is a sort of small issue. But they are talking about putting new things in. So they're talking about bar fights, bringing in bar fights, putting in a bathroom for your patrons, which you'll have to keep clean. Bringing in other locations, bringing in food, which is an interesting idea. And I think if they were able to incorporate all of this and take away the bugs, then it starts to become a more interesting game, because I think the developers do look like they are really active in the game. They're responding to comments. They're looking to make this as best as possible. But I think at the minute it doesn't quite stack up to being that, unfortunately. So I think this has got room to grow. I think there is a ceiling on what it can offer, because I think the very nature of this game, at least unless you hit gold like Gas Station Simulator, I think you're going to be struggling to make this kind of something that people want to come back to and play again and again. I think one of the ways that maybe you do that is by making it incredibly, adaptable, customizable, and so it feels like every time you play it, it's a little bit different, and that's going to be tough to achieve. I think maybe you've got different locations that you can start in, those sorts of things. Maybe you can change the difficulty setting. You're in different kind of places where maybe it's a high-end establishment where people spend more money. You get different types of clientele that come in. Maybe you buy a beach, that sort of things. There's a lot of option for maybe making the game customizable, but I think at the minute, in the current setup that they've got, I don't think there's a lot of replayability, and with the bugs that are there at the minute, I think a lot of people won't get past day 3 or 4. You won't get that as reputation boost to be able to see what the later game looks like, unfortunately. So I think currently I'd probably give this about a 3.5 out of 10. I think there's definitely capacity to rise that up, maybe to a 5.5, depending on what they actually manage to integrate, how they deal with the bugs, those sort of things. It's available for $6.99 on Steam. I picked it up for about half price, I think, on the Steam sale. But I commend the developer, because the developer clearly cares a lot about this game. So I don't want to, I've given it that score, but I really don't want that to be me bashing it. I think there's room for improvement. There's a lot of nice things in this game, but there's a lot of places where we could improve. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on what we've done here. Have you played this? Are there any other games in similar genre that you have seen that you like the look of? I think there's 2 or 3 other pub simulation games which I've not really looked at, so I don't know how this stacks up against them. But love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.